All right, hello, welcome to my channel. The quality of my content has definitely improved, and I look tea as fuck. Like, no shade, no shade. I look real good, like real tea, real busy. Anyways, oh my god, I'm gonna start up an ASMR channel real soon because I just want you guys to follow my finger. All right, okay, good. Child, I play too fucking much. I play way too much. Anyways, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe even before watching the video. Just because I'm tea, like, that's the point. That's all you came for, like. But for today, chat, anyways. But for tonight's video, I am going to talk about female friendships and why I personally feel, aka my hypothesis on why a lot of female friendships don't really work out well between Muslim girls or girls from very conservative cultures and conservative like religions. I often feel like I have to stay on my P's and Q's around girls that I should have been or should be very comfortable being myself around. Let's just get right into it, okay? I feel like growing up in a very conservative culture with a very conservative religion has made every single human being, especially women, cops. It has made every single person a literal Mossad agent. Like, I'm not even kidding. You know, digging up information and collecting information on their closest and dearest friends and family. Let's just start off with the family aspect, because I feel like we often carry the relationships we have with our families into our friendships, and then, you know, into our relationships and into our work relationships, etc. Like, everything quite literally starts at home. I remember being a young child and seeing my mom very, very close with her family. You know, that's something that she's always prided herself on. But then, and that also goes for her friends as well. Like her, you know, the caballero that she used to be really close with, or hang out with, or be cool with. I kind of always assumed that my mom had very deep and rich relationships with those women until I got old enough to talk and old enough to have my own personality. And I started getting coached by my mom to, like, watch what I say, watch what I do, watch how I behave around, extended family and, her friends. And it's like, I literally remember being a kid and like wondering, why do I have to be on my P's and Q's around extended family? Why can I never truly open up around my cousins? Why is there this, little talk between me and my mom and me and my siblings when it comes to how we act and behave and what we do around our own goddamn family? And even when I went back to Africa in 2018, I remember, because I'm such a Hoya Matalo, and Hoya Matalo is basically a Somali person that doesn't speak Somali and that is very Americanized, like in the way, or very westernized in the way that they behave and act. And I remember when I went back at 16, or like 15 or 16, I was, getting around my cousins and I was trying to talk to them all types of ways about all types of everything, about my crushes. And I really thought that I met my best friends. Whole time, I'm just Hoya Matalo. Like, I'm just a very, very westernized kid who doesn't understand, like, your cousins might be talking to you and they might be laughing with you and they might be really cool with you and they might be really close with you and they might, want to chat with you. But that entire time, information, like, they're collecting information the whole time you're talking to them. And there is a massive energetic difference between somebody who grew up in Somalia versus somebody who grew up in the West and who is Hoya Matalo. Like, the fobs, not to call them fobs, but it's just an easy way to describe them. Like, your fobs move completely different than people who are westernized. They have this like evil aura to them. I'm not going to say evil. Okay, let me take that back. They have this slimy nature to them. They are not people you can fully grasp. Everything is kind of like, tight and held together, and their words are usually cut short, and the way they act and the way they move is just so different and so odd. And it's like, you can see them looking at you, but while they're looking at you, they're like investigating you, and like they have this look to them and this behavior to them that is just very frightening. For example, I was scrolling TikTok and I saw this Nigerian girl say, like, and she's a British Nigerian girl, okay? And she said that anytime she goes back to Nigeria and she sees Nigerian American girls there, she feels so worried for their safety, because those Nigerian American girls are extremely friendly. Like, they go up to everybody, they're complimenting people, they're laughing with people. Whole time they don't realize that the people they're talking to and laughing with and complimenting don't like them and have something up their sleeve. like, it's a very odd energy to them. Like, for example, if you are like a South Asian girly, you grew up in America, every single thing you do is kind of like open-minded and kind of just happy, and you don't have anything up your sleeve. Like, being around your cousins that grew up back home is like the oddest experience for you. I could almost guarantee like they have this slimy feeling to them. And I'm not even gonna lie, a lot of people from the UK also have that slimy feeling. It's just like everything's like, you know, Helton, people are like staring at you, but they're not staring at you, and they're like, oh my God, hi. Like, and they have this like weird energy to their voice. And it's like, when I went back there in 2018, bitch, I'm talking to my cousins like, okay, so what had happened was basically like I'm out there just chit-chatting, like talking about my life. Like, I'm answering every single question that's being asked of me. They're asking me everything and I'm answering everything straight up. Like, you know, I'm showing them pictures on my phone and I'm screen sharing with them. Whole time, I'm just a innocent, happy-go-lucky, Hoya Matalo, westernized American kid who has not grown up to like, you know, fear or detect energies, and who has not yet gained consciousness. And that consciousness being a lot of women, especially women, because, you know, why would I be friends with a nigga? No shade. I don't believe in, it's not that I don't believe in male and female relationships and friendships, you know, and having that just be a pure thing. It's that why on earth would I, you know, want to be friends with a man? Oof, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if he literally called me up and said, oh my God, Ayede that just passed away, like my grandma just passed away, I would hang up on him. Like, why on earth would I want to be buddy with a man? That is like where I'm shocked at. Like, that's where I'm stuck at. Like, y'all voluntarily friendships, like males, like, y'all want to be like, ugh, like, y'all do that? Okay. You check up on a man? And that's just because I'm a hater. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally just because I'm a hater, like, period. And I'm proud of that. I lost track of what I was saying. Just downloading information from the fuck-ass Bang database. Kill men? Oh, exactly. Period. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I remember literally when I was walking around the streets of Hargeisa, I was talking to everybody, bro. I was like answering every question. I was sitting next to every single habayar. Habayars are like just older ladies. And I was just running my mouth. Yes, I did this and I did this and I went to school here and I did that and I was chit-chatting and running my mouth like there was no tomorrow. And in the back of my mind, every single thing I was saying was chill. Every single thing I was saying was fine. Why would anyone ever assume the worst of me? Why would anyone ever, you know, say anything bad about me? Why would people interpret the things I say negatively? Like, they are my family. They're my aunties. They're my cousins. They're my, like, family members. They're chill. They love me. Nope. Update to all the Hoya Matalos. Your cousin that's kind of slimy and has a weird energy to her, and that, like, you know, has a million different questions for you, and who only hits you up whenever she wants to, you know, get information out of you, aka every like couple months, is not your friend. She's just building a case on you. And I used to get so many different warnings from my mother, like, hey, don't talk about our family. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. Even to our own literal blood relatives, even to our own family, because they are never going to assume the best of you. Those women that you're going to talk to, those aunties that you think you should be able to trust, like, for example, I should be able to go to my aunt and tell her all the things that I'm too embarrassed to talk to my mom about, and I should have that, you know, person, I should have her as my safe space. I should have her as a very safe person to go to ask advice from, to get comfort from. But no, if you are a Somali girl, you literally cannot go to your aunt and run your mouth, because she's going to take all that information and she's going to build a case. She's going to go ahead and collect all the information she needs, and she's going to build a RICO on you, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to get your ass RICO'd. And I remember seeing, you know, how all the women in my family moved. You know, they're all close on paper. They're all very, very buddy-buddy, very, very friendly. They're all very, very buddy-buddy with each other, always on the phone with each other. But they never, ever, truly ever say what's going on in their lives. Anytime they're inviting their kids over, they always give their kids a talk when it comes to, you know, talking to their fellow sister or talking to their fellow cousins, and not really exposing too much about their personal life or their information. And they raise their kids up to constantly, you know, have an eye on the back of their heads, you know, keeping watch for the people within their family. And then they're also raised us girls are also raised to keep an eye out on our friends. I remember being in middle school and running my mouth to my friends about all my insecurities and worries and wills and all that shit. And I remember I used to come home and I used to tell my mom, oh my God, I told my best friend this and I told my best friend that and my best friend this and my best friend that. And I literally used to get corrected by my mother. And she used to tell me, Naya, afara haga akahadlin. Do not talk about your business. Do not talk about your personal life. Do not tell sirtada, don't tell your secrets to these little girls. They're not your friends. And it literally used to baffle the hell out of me. I used to look at my mom and I used to think, what is wrong with her? What is wrong with my mom? What is she talking about? Why can't I just talk to my aunt? Why can't I be just chill with my cousins? Why can't I just run my mouth to my friends? Why shouldn't I? They're my friends. Until I got old enough to get RICO'd. Until I ran my mouth enough to have a little girl come after me and blackmail me with the very information that I told her. Until I realized the friend that, asks me a bunch of questions, the friend that is always really, really eager to hear me out about whatever my worries and my stress and my anxieties is not truly my friend. She's, collecting information on me. And she's most likely going to use it the day that she thinks that she needs to use it. Some people do not collect information because they're bad people. Some people just like to, know that they have more on their friend than their friend can ever have on them. That is why anytime I've seen two Somali girls falling out, one is very quick to say, that bitch has nothing on me. That bitch has nothing on me. That bitch has nothing on me. Nobody has anything on me. Who has anything on me? Who has anything on me? And anytime I would hear a girl say that, it would have me thinking, so were you not your true self in that friendship? Were you not your honest, true version of yourself? Were you keeping things secret? And it's not like I want to know the deepest, darkest secrets of people. It's not like I want to know all of someone's information. But to be so secretive about yourself, to be so guarded about yourself, is to never truly ever be known. For example, I'm a very material rich individual, okay? Not in money, but in material that can be used against me. If I'm in the car with my best friend and we've gotten, our little Dunkin' order and we're driving around the city and I have a prescription to pick up, and let's say the prescription is for something very intimate, I am not going to hesitate and not pull over if I drive by CVS. I am going to have my friend come down with me. We're going to joke about it. I'm going to take, whatever medication I need in the car, and I'm going to call it a day, and I'm going to throw the medication wrapper in the back. And I'm not going to think about it twice. But I've been around girls who've had the medications they've took posted on their ex-best friend's Snapchat. I've had girls who have fallen out with girls that, they were friends with for 4 or 5 years. And then those very girls go ahead and upload very, compromising videos of them. Compromising videos of them that girl allowed the other girl to take while they were friends, assuming that nothing was ever going to get posted. To be a Muslim girl that comes from a very conservative culture is to never ever have a friend truly know you, is to constantly be on your P's and Q's, is to constantly be looking over your shoulder. Did the girl I was hanging out with and had a sleepover with airdrop pictures of myself without hijab to her phone? Even if you are a very pious religious person and there's not really much material that can be collected about you and you're just very quiet on the creek, you can still, have a sleepover with a girl, and then that very girl can go through your phone, right? Because you're not guarding your passwords. If you are, you might as well just not have friends, but you're probably not guarding your passwords, and that girl can go through your phone and airdrop herself whatever she needs to airdrop. And the day y'all fall out, everything she took and collected that night will be up. Will be up, will be posted, will be on all screens within 24 hours of your guys' fallout. And this goes for cousins, this goes for aunties. The grimiest, most slimiest individuals that I've ever met in my life are weird ass aunties. Weird aunties with weird vibes. Let me give you an example. There was this lady that was neighbors with us when I was younger that would always approach me, right? She would always be like, Habayar, how are you? How's the family? Da-da-da. With that same, voice and tone and with this look. Hi, how are you? Like a Hoya Matala little child, like a very Americanized, optimistic little kid who, doesn't assume the worst of anybody until they have her messed up. I would run my mouth about my family and my mom's business. I would. Yes, I have to admit it. I would. Whole time, that auntie was collecting info on my family, and I just didn't know. Because why would I? Why should I? Why would I have to assume that? Why is a 45-year-old lady collecting information from a 14-year-old, 13-year-old, 17-year-old? Why? Why on earth would I assume a woman that I'm like, confiding in, she might not be my mom, would go ahead, spin on her heel, and weaponize that against a child, especially a young child? Until I realized, when you live in a society that hates women, every single woman is a cop. Every single woman is a cop. And for a long time, I kind of, accepted the fact that most of my mom's generation was to be watched out for. I accepted that I had to watch myself around these older women that I should have been comfortable being myself around. But I swear to God, I could have never seen it coming from my generation. I could have never seen it coming from girls my age. Let me give you another example. I have so many examples to give. I became friends with this girl, I think when I was like 17 or 18. Right? And I was obsessed with her. Like, I thought she was so pretty and so smart and so funny. And anytime I would meet up with her and hang out with her, right, I would talk about my life. I would talk about myself. I would run my mouth, obviously. But then when it came to, me asking her questions, she would always be very quiet and very secretive. Like, I would end up running my mouth and she would end up listening to me. And I felt so heard and I felt so understood and I felt so comforted around her, until one day I realized she doesn't hang out with me anymore. We just kind of like message each other back and forth on Snapchat. Like, all we do is kind of message each other, but we don't ever really see each other. Anytime I call her, she is like either busy or unavailable. And the times that she would reach out to me is when I would post something fun that was going on in my life, like around my birthday or whenever something nice was happening. She would go ahead and get the initiative to give me a call. And then I would be like, oh my God, girl, I've missed you so much. It's been so long. Like, like, I want to see you. Like, I want to talk to you all day. Like, let's talk tomorrow. And the second I would be like, okay, like, I've, talked on the phone with you for about 2 hours. How about you? What's up? What's going on in your life? I don't want to be a selfish person, hogging up, our phone call, I've been talking for an hour. I feel so happy, so excited. I'm telling you all of my deepest, darkest secrets. Like, we're catching up. I'm telling you about my struggles. Like, how are you doing? She would immediately tell me, oh, my sister's calling. Oh, my brother's calling. Oh my God, I have like this homework assignment. Oh my God, Sue, I have to go make Aisha. Like, I have to go make Aisha. Like, I have to go make dinner. Like, just wait. I have to go make dinner. And she would tell me, oh, I'm going to give you a call right back. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And then I would hang up, the phone. We would hang up the phone. And I would sit there and I would literally feel naked. That's the best way to describe it. I would literally feel naked in that situation. Because it's just like, I want to be your friend. I call you my friend. I consider you my friend. And I feel like I'm talking a lot more than you are. And at first I thought I was being schizophrenic. Like, I thought I was, being a weirdo myself. Until I realized, wait, I don't know anything about this girl. I know a couple basic things. I know things here and there. But like, I don't know anything about her. And whenever I do try to give her a call, she doesn't answer. Whenever she calls me, it's always when I'm like doing something or I've posted something. Whenever I like probably popped up on her page and she remembers me, that's probably when she gives me a call. And then I want to be close with her. I want to be, her friend. I want to call her my friend. But I don't have any deep connection with her. I don't know her. I talk to her less than I talk to people that I don't consider close friends with me. But it's so weird. And then I just stopped calling her. I stopped answering her calls. And then 6 months went by. And then 9 months went by. And then I realized, like, she missed my birthday. She missed this. And then as I got older, I realized that girl was never my friend. She was somebody who was only ever close to me to collect information, to get to know me more, to have me pinned down, to have me, understood. And the second she got as much as she needed and double checked whatever she needed to know, she wasn't interested anymore unless I did something to, remind me or remind her of me, right? And that goes for female, relatives as well. Some of them literally never call, never talk to you, never know what's going on in your life until you pop up on their page, and then you ring a bell for them and they give you a call, and it's like, are you only calling for information? Because what's the point of a relationship when you only call to know something or to understand something? What's the point? And then I realized, no, listen, you are far too optimistic and far too Americanized to be prepared to deal with people that are fobs, genuinely. Even fob men can tell there's a drastic difference between girls that grew up in the West and who have this like very unassuming energy to them. Everything about them is unassuming. And I was deeply unassuming for a very, very long time. I took things at face value. I assumed the best. I never assumed that people were out there collecting information that were within my own family. Why would I expect? Why on earth would I ever expect that? Like, why on earth would I ever assume that? And then to then go out into the world and make friends with women, to become very close with women, and to bare my soul to them, just to have them, be very, very tight-lipped about themselves, just so that they can always have more on me than I will ever have on them, is flipping heartbreaking. I don't want to know someone's deepest, darkest secrets, right? I don't want to know what's going on in your panties right now. Like, I really don't. Like, I don't need to know what's going on there because I don't need to take a picture of them, right? But there's people out there that, like, will literally mentally log that, like, she literally just sent me a picture with her and her boyfriend. Like, they will mentally note it, right? And if, God forbid, you become friends with a girl that's envious of you, jealous of you, hateful towards you, who has like a secret animosity with you, she will literally catalog your entire relationship with her. Everything you've ever said, everything you've ever texted, everything you've ever took a picture of. She will catalog your guys' friendships, and she will weaponize that against you. Because, again, in a society that hates women, in very, very deeply conservative cultures where reputations literally matter more than life itself, when a woman hates you, she's not gonna outright go ban for ban with you. She's not gonna go ahead and post her face card because she most likely knows you eat her the fuck up. She's not gonna try, posting up her degrees and her money and her income. She's gonna try humiliating you. She's gonna try publicly embarrassing you. She's gonna try tarnishing your reputation. And I feel like that is why so many of our aunties are very, very weird towards us younger women. It's because they never really got to experience their youth free and beautiful and young. So they want to literally tarnish and embarrass young girls that are coming up in their families. They want to talk shit about them more than they want to talk shit about the husbands that they have beating their ass. They want to go ahead and they want to spread your nudes, knowing damn well they're your aunties, because they just want to go ahead and, take a poke at your mother. They want to be able to say, oh, look at what happened to Selma's daughter. إلهي ونحريصه. Oh, subhanallah. Like, they want to be able to talk shit about your mother. That's why they're so obsessed with talking shit about the younger generations. They want to be able to humiliate young girls. And even beyond the young girls that are coming up in their families, older women love to talk shit about younger girls. That's all they ever do on Fiverr, on WhatsApp, on Instagram. All they ever do is watch young girls' lives, comment on their posts, and then send each other the posts of young girls within their communities and within their, little neighborhoods or within their city or within their ethnic background. For example, your miserable, older Pakistani aunt would literally give up her firstborn child in order to get something compromising of you. I'm not even kidding. It runs that deep. She would rather give up an arm, a leg, a pinky toe, a finger, an eyeball, if that meant she would get something very, very compromising on a young woman within her community or within her family. And that also goes for girls that are within our generation. There are girls out there that would literally jump for joy if they found out something very compromising or something very embarrassing about you. I like to read through Reddit a lot, and I have seen countless posts from young women, right? Gen Z, young millennial women talking about how, oh my God, like the non-hijabi, I know this one girl, she's a non-hijabi and she just got married. This is so unfair. Why? Should a non-hijabi be publicly embarrassed and publicly lashed at and forbid, romantic relationships? Why do you have a problem with that? Or I've seen girls that like have made posts saying like, the girls who have like the fast life and who do whatever they want and who drink and who fuck and who smoke and who lie and who do this and this and this, they still get married. Men are still interested in them. Like, this is like literally affecting my self-esteem. This is, lowering my morale, because like, what's the point? Please don't tell me you wear the hijab just so you could get married. I'm going to kill. Please. Because on one hand, should a Muslim girl be sleeping around, smoking, drinking, not wearing proper hijab? No, of course not. She's Muslim. She should follow Islam. That goes for me as well. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean she can't be married. It doesn't mean she can't go ahead and get partnered correctly in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and her family and his family. It doesn't mean that young girls should be banished and embarrassed and bashed for life. No, it doesn't. And if the only reason you wear the hijab is just so that you could get married or have a better chance or easier chance, getting married compared to a non-hijabi or a bad, nasty woman, then you're not a genuinely good practicing Muslim. So basically, that is why I deeply, deeply struggle with friendships between me and other Muslim girls who have grown up in, very, very conservative Muslim societies. Because it's just like, can I truly be myself? Right? Can I stop at CVS if you're in the car with me? Right? Can I take pictures with you without makeup on? Can I take pictures with you without my hijab on or with shorts on if we're, doing a sleepover? Right? Can I, confide in you the deepest, darkest secrets that I have? And if we fall out, will you weaponize Arab culture against me? That is the genuine question that I have for the young girls that are my age that I want to be friends with. Will you, if we fall out, even if I'm wrong, right? Because people, you have to allow people the ability to be bad or wrong in your life. You cannot execute and exile every single person that has you slightly offended or slighted. For example, what if I don't make it to your birthday and I'm low-key giving hater and you could tell I'm low-key jealous, right? And I'm just being a bad friend. And you end up deciding to not be friends with me because I'm low-key giving hater and a bad friend, right? And I'm giving you a shitty, present, and I'm, killing the mood of your birthday party if I show up, etc., right? Let's just say I am the weirdo in our friendship dynamic. Are you then going to weaponize Arab culture to completely execute me and crucify me in front of our whole community just because I was a weird bitch once or twice? Like, that's a genuine question I have for so many young girls. Are you then going to go ahead and spin on your wheel and set aside your feminist liberal views and then go ahead and burn me at the flippin' stake in front of everybody just because we went ahead and fell out? There are a lot of people that I have decided to not be friends with, to cut contact with, that I have known a lot about. And one thing that I have sworn by is that I will never, ever, ever repeat what they have told me in public or ever weaponize that information against them in life. If I am not your friend, if I do not talk to you, the one thing you can at least get out of me is I'm going to be real quiet on the creek and I will never be loud on the creek. I promise on my life. Could I be shady? Could I be slightly hateful? Could I be slightly messy? Meow. Meow. Yeah, cause. But am I gonna be loud on the creek about your personal business? Am I gonna start screaming on a microphone? Am I gonna start uploading pictures and videos and text messages? No, I would never. Messiness, shadiness, a little hateful demeanor. Like, okay, yeah. Like, I will never be above being a messy bitch. Like, I will never be above that. Like, never. But coming on to the main street to expose you, my sister was friends with this girl, and I'm just going to talk about this very vaguely because I don't want to get my ass beat, because these girls really do be fighting and I'm not a fighter and I don't want to get my ass beat. But and I don't know these girls, but my sister does, or my sister did. She used to be friends with this one girl and her sister that, had a fun life. They were very young, free young girls doing whatever they wanted. And somehow this one op of theirs, this one, opposition, this one hater asshole that I honestly think is a demon. Like, I've never met her, but the things I've heard of her are so demonic. Like, sometimes I really think to myself, I'm not being as evil as I could be. Like, I really am not. Like, I have never, ever done, I've heard, bro, I honestly don't know what to say. Like, if I was to say every single thing that human being did, that shit would be so shocking to y'all. But basically, that girl was, able to go ahead and find a very compromising video of him. And she went ahead and she blackmailed the hell out of them. She held that video over their head. Like, oh, I'm going to upload this. 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 Like, she's threatening them. She's sending them messages from like multiple different numbers. And she's like ripping through them, right? And everybody in the scenario is a young Muslim girl in her early 20s that live in America. Right? That's what we're dealing with, right? She's holding this video over this girl's head. She's threatening her. She's blackmailing her. She's telling her, like, I have friends that have accounts that have 20K views. I'm going to upload it there. I'm going to upload it there. I'm going to upload it there. Blah, 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 blah. Eventually, she does end up posting it, right? And then She's going back and forth with them. She's holding it over their heads. She's contacting their mother. She's talking to their mother that's in Africa. Like, she's calling up everybody. Like, she's literally ripping through them. And this video was extremely compromising, like deeply compromising. And then she ends up posting it. She ends up taking it down. She ends up threatening to repost it. These girls end up going to the police. They're telling the police, like, hey, she's blackmailing us. She's doing this. She's doing this. Like, what can you do? The police end up basically telling them, we can't do nothing. Eventually, they were able to catch up with her. And everything else I'm going to plead the fifth on. You know, they're real tea, real cute, real petite when they caught her. That's all I'm going to say. They're real cute, real petite. You know, they had, you know, their other friends tapped them as well. Like, real cute, real petite shit, right? But that girl ended up blackmailing them and threatening them with something that was shared in confidence and shared with no evil intent. But when you get around girls that are deeply envious of you and you're a young Muslim girl, you have to be basically on your P's and Q's around everybody, because you know, you never really know who's envious of you. You never really know who hates you. You never really know who's collecting information or who's holding their tongue around you just to make sure that they have more on you than you have on them mentally. You never really know how someone can behave if you guys fall out. And that is why I am so deeply frightened to form close relationships with women who have grown up in Muslim societies. They are so quick to blackmail you. They are so quick to air you out. They are so quick to weaponize ab culture against you. It could literally be the girl with the fuck-ass bangs who, you know, touts herself to be a liberated feminist, who will literally spin on her heel and upload, you know, your guys' entire chat log. And the only reason why she even has the entire chat log to upload is because she's been watching what she's been saying the entire time. And you just haven't been clocking it. And that goes for cousins, that goes for aunts, that goes for your, you know, extended community, that goes for the little aunties that always sit in a huddle in the masjid, that goes for, you know, that one Muslim teacher at your school that's a counselor. Like, everybody is collecting information on everybody. Everybody is a monitoring spirit. Like, I'm not kidding. Every single individual is a monitoring spirit. Every single woman. Even Gen Z, right? Even Gen Z women. Even Gen Z girls. Women sounds so weird to say alongside Gen Z. Even Gen Z girls. Obviously, I made a video about how a lot of ethnic, you know, Muslim first generation immigrant mothers often heavily rely on their daughters emotionally, physically, and also for like their labor and their income. One thing I want to elaborate more on when it comes to that topic is the reason why mothers are so heavily enmeshed with their daughters is because no one in their life that's a woman has ever truly known them. Their sisters are all kind of weird, even though she's close with them, even though she's always chit-chatting with them on Fiverr or WhatsApp. She's never truly herself around her sisters because her sisters are always collecting information on one another. Her own sisters are moving like secret agents, you know, secret Mossad agents, collecting information. And if your mother was to be honest with, you know, your aunts about her marriage, about her finances, about her body, about her health, they would go ahead and they would weaponize that information against her. Right? There was somebody very, very close to me in my family that was very sick for a very long time, or very long portion of my childhood and my life. One day I was sat down and I was taught about, you know, the illness that they had and the condition of their body and what they were going through. And one thing I was made to promise is to never tell anybody. So weird, right? I was told, be very quiet. It's just within our household. Like, don't say anything. And this illness is an illness anyone could get. It's not AIDS. It is not AIDS. It's not like a weird STD. It's a medical condition that anybody can develop, God forbid, right? Like, if somebody was to discover the cure for that illness on a plane, the plane would immediately get shot down. Like, it's one of those illnesses. It's just like one of the big illnesses that people get, especially when they're older or if they've, you know, smoked or stuff like that, right? And I was told to promise to never tell anybody. That being my extended family, my cousins, the aunties that were within my community, I was told to promise to never say anything just to keep it within the family. And that is the best definition of Arab culture. You are made to even hide your illnesses. You're made to hide your weaknesses. Things that other communities would gather around and go on marches for, you know, walks for and collect money for, and, you know, things that would make other families that don't come from my background closer together would literally get you ostracized in my society, within my community, because we're so heavily entrenched in Arab culture that even illnesses, illnesses that you cannot control or cannot even really prevent, and that you can get at any time as a child, as an adult, as a, pregnant woman, as a not pregnant woman, that you can get at any time in life, literally get weaponized against you. But back to, me talking about mothers can truly never be themselves around their sisters, right? Because their sisters are themselves collecting information. They're collecting information to build a RICO. You know what I mean? And so your mom cannot really confide in her sisters. She cannot confide in her friends, She cannot confide in the broader society, in a random woman that she meets at the masjid and gets close with, because every single thing will get tied back to her, tied back to her honor, tied back to her family, and then she will be shredded to bits, basically. Therefore, the only people our mothers really even had a chance to connect with, honestly, is us, their daughters. If you are Somali, the person who probably knows your mom the most, the person who's the closest to your mother, is most likely you or your sister that's older than you. That is the person that probably knows the most about your mom's life, your mom's struggles, your mom's marriage, your mom's health. And even then, our moms are not even honest with us because we are their children. There's a level of, secrecy that our moms have been forced to live in order to protect their reputation, in order to protect their children's reputation. They were even forced to coach their children around their own family just so that they can protect their reputation. And right now talking, I kind of feel schizophrenic because it's just like, oh my God, is my family dynamic that bad? But it's not. I feel like I have a great family set up. My mom and dad were and still are very open-minded people, bro. I have such a hard time talking about my dad in the past tense because he passed away in 2024 and I still have not caught up with that mentally. Anytime I talk about my parents, I talk as if my dad's still alive because I literally cannot help it. In my mind, he's literally not dead though. He's not. He's not. I cannot talk about my dad in the past tense, but basically, he not here no more, no shade. I'm going to house. He's not here, basically. He's not here. But my parents are very, very open-minded people. They're very loving. They're very my dad grew up in America. He went to high school here. He went to college here. I have what I would call a very unicorn-ass family. But even then, I was taught to be really, 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 really quiet on the creek. If we're being fair, who could our mothers genuinely turn to without fearing that information being weaponized against them? Even me, living in 2026, doing whatever I want to do, spending my own money, making my own money, going to school to, advance my degree because I like the money that I make now, but I want to make more, so I want to, go up, right? Even I fear opening up. Even I find myself being very tight-lipped around people that I should be very open around. Even I find myself, double guessing to send a video to my best friend or not. To double guessing bringing my friend along my day. Double guessing if I should invite my friend over if my place is messy. Because everybody is a cop. Everybody is an investigative cop. And so now I really don't have friends. I really don't mess with people. I am now starting to act like the aunties I hated myself, being very tight-lipped about my life. I'm only presenting the best version of myself. I'm not sharing information. I'm not trying to build very deep and rich, connections with people. I'm very surface level. Myself, I'm starting to become a very slimy person, somebody that's very difficult to grasp and take a hold of. I've experienced so many one-sided relationships that I'm like, there's something wrong here. There's something wrong here. I keep showing up without my mask and everybody else is wearing their mask. I keep showing up unprepared to deal with people who have been on the program or with the program since they were 6. I just got to the program and I'm 24, and that's because I am a neurodivergent baddie. What do you mean people don't mean what they say? What do you mean my friend is making sure that she has more on me than I have on her? Just intuitively. Even though she's not a bad person, even though she's not jealous or a weirdo, right? She's automatically just making sure that she doesn't say too much. Because she was taught at a very young age, and she actually listened, unlike I did. I was like, ugh, my mom's just being annoying. Yeah, what do you mean, mom? This is my friend. No. Like, that was me. I was so aggravating. I wish I could go back and like, but you know, we live and we learn. We live and we learn. I have ran my mouth too much. And now, like, I'm low-key kind of embarrassed to even go back to Hargeisa because, like, I was so chill around my cousins and I shouldn't have been. I would literally be asked something and I'd be like, oh my God, yeah, so yeah. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, the best way I could describe it is like Game of Thrones. If you are an ethnic girl from a very conservative culture, every single person behaves as if they're in the Game of Thrones. Every single person is low-key Littlefinger. And then you go out there and you're Sansa, right? You're young Sansa. You're having a blast. Everybody is nice and the world is a good place. And you have, you know, a very happy nuclear family, so you assume everyone is nice. And then you get ate the fuck up. You get ate up. Like, if you are a baddie, you have at least been RICO'd by your, you know, extended family at least once. You have at least been RICO'd once. What I'm trying to say is, to be a Muslim young woman is to live in fear of a RICO. Everybody around you is collecting info. Your aunts are collecting info. They're low-key kind of grimy and slimy. You know, your cousins are low-key kind of unreliable. You know, if they are not themselves very optimistic, happy-go-lucky individuals, but like some of them, maybe the ones that are, you know, in Pakistan, maybe the ones in Saudi, maybe the ones, you know, in Bosnia, maybe the ones in, you know, Senegal, maybe they're the ones that kind of move grimier. Like, they just have a weirder energy to them. They're looking at you, but they're not looking at you. They're asking questions, but they're not asking questions. They're taking pictures with you, but they're not really taking pictures with you, and you can kind of tell they don't want to take pictures with you. Video off on, like, I really don't know what the solution is. I don't know what the solution is. Do you guys know the solution? Because I'm low-key kind of scared and spooked. I'm spooked to have a young girl that is, I think, a year younger than me, threatening other young girls, living their life, just being themselves, being beautiful, being tea, being, you know, cute and petite, making mistakes, recovering from mistakes, being changed people, and then having, you know, the girl that's a year younger than me threaten them. Like, who does that? Who raised you? I don't know. It's just very, very frightening to be friends with people who only contact you for information, who only contact you to get updates on your life, to be related to people that are like very, very grimy. Very grimy. People who never compliment you when you're doing well, but are the first to talk about you when you're doing bad. Honestly, we need to speak up about people collecting information on each other. People always needing to, you know, have something on other people. The constant need to never let anybody have anything on you. And the damage, you know, that causes to our friendships and to our family structures. Because if you live your life, you know, making sure that no one ever has anything on you, that means no one can ever know you. That means you will never ever be known. Like, there's a difference between running your mouth and talking about all your business and your deepest, darkest secrets to the first person that asks you a question. You know, like, I don't talk about my life at work. You know, I'm going to do the whole economics or home economics series, but I'm not going to go into my pay. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go into my job. I'm not going to go into the licenses that I have, because why would I risk people coming after my job and my license and stuff like that? Why would I do that? You know, but I will talk about how much it costs me to live, just so I can give people, you know, an example of what life can be if they live on their own. Because that is something that I would have, you know, deeply appreciated before I moved out. I kind of moved out kind of blindly. I didn't know the cost of things, a cost of groceries for a whole month for a young girl who does like to buy the nice cereal, the nice, you know, snacks, the nice energy drinks, etc. You know, the nice yogurts, the nice protein bars. Like, you know, I kind of wanted a gauge, you know? All right, so comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and comment down below if you think my fit is tea. Hold on. Is my fit tea or not? Is my fit cute, petite, or... Actually, there is no other or. It is, but I just want you guys to comment that because... you know what I mean? Like, wait. Yeah. Yeah.